Good evening, welcome along for the first of a series of live shows brought to you on StokeCityFC.com. And tonight we bring you two very special guests, two first team stars, currently nursing an injury, or two, shall we say, but it's our pleasure tonight to bring to you defender Nathan Collins and striker Tyrese Campbell. Welcome along, fellas.
You're right.
Thank you for taking the time. Good, thank you for taking the time out to talk to us. Nathan, we'll come to you first. How's life treating you? How are those crutches?
They're not great, to be fair with you, but listen, it has to be done. But hopefully it's over soon.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. Well, Nathan, before we move on, we've got lots of questions. In fact, we've had hundreds of questions for you and Ty this evening, which is really pleasing to see. Before we do that, Ty in rehearsals yesterday when we were testing the kit wanted to see some skills. So we've got a little video of you, Carlo. So let's see that video, shall we? So, Ty, were you happy with the skills?
Yeah, there was some good clips in there. Really proud of him.
Good. He is. He's come on a treat, hasn't he, Ty? He's come on a treat. How are you keeping?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Off the crutches now. It was a long 6 weeks on them, but everything's moving well, progressing well, and just building everything back up.
Well, let's take a look. We wanted goals, so let's have a look at some goals, shall we? Putting a smile on everyone's face there, Tyrese, aren't you? There's lots of Stoke fans punching the air when them goals go in.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling, lovely feeling to be able to do that.
Good. Well, there's a couple of things I want to do a bit of housekeeping first. Normally we'd be doing fire exits, toilets, the bar will be open at this stage, but obviously we're all virtually, so that isn't going to happen this evening. I want to come and talk to both of you. So we had lots of questions. As I say, we had hundreds of questions in for the pair of you, and there was a repeating theme through lots of these questions because everybody is desperate to know how you're doing with your recovery. So Nate, let's come to you first. How's things, and when are we likely to see you back in a red and white shirt?
Well, mine's still fresh, you see, so it's probably still a while to go, but it's been recovering well, to be fair. I've been off my feet, it feels a lot better than what it was. Hopefully in a few months I could be back running, back playing on the pitch, hopefully in a few months.
And Ty, you're, unfortunately, again, currently injured. How are you finding it, and how far down the line are we with your rehab?
Yeah, obviously it's not been nice. I mean, not being able to do the job I love, but it's been a learning curve for me for sure, and definitely learning new things about myself and my body, and I'm just enjoying the journey, to be honest. There's been a lot of ups and downs at the start, but everything's sort of smoothing out now. But yeah, I'm just enjoying it, and hopefully got a couple of dates in my head when I want to be back, but I'll keep them to myself for now. So
keeping them under wraps for the time being. You talk there about as a young player you get injured, it's a big setback. How have you coped with that from the mental perspective, sort of mentally? How have you got yourself through that? And we'll come to you first, Ty, because obviously you've been out a little bit longer. How have you coped with that?
I think from my point of view, you just gotta sort of keep the light at the end of the tunnel in your head as much as you can, and just look at all the positives. And like, it's only gonna improve you as a person and a player. Like, you're gonna have that experience behind you. You're gonna be mentally so much stronger, and it can only help you in the long term. So it's definitely helped me. And even when it's been hard for me, I've got like good friends, good family around me. Everyone's been great with me, and everyone at Stoke as well. So I can't complain. It's been Everyone's been really good.
Good. And Nathan, obviously motivated and positive, something that you are on the field. We know that for fact, having watched you week in, week out. How have you coped with the setback of not being on that team sheet?
Yeah, it hurts to be fair. All I want to do really is be on the pitch, playing or training. So it does hurt a little bit, but as Ty said, he has so much support. Even from the fans, giving text messages and stuff like that. It just wants you to get there to the finish line of this injury, and be back out there playing again.
Thank you both. Right, I've got a ton of questions I've got through. I've got questions for you individually, and I've got questions for both of you. There is some classics in there. We always get an appearance from the oatcake question. Before we move on, we're going to go through, and I'm going to quick fire a few of these at you as well. So, Tyrese, I'm going to come to you first. Um,
Okay.
this is a question that's come in from a supporter. It's been fab seeing you come through the academy. What is your favourite position when playing for Stoke? And the support goes on to mention that you score more goals from the wing. So, what would you say your favourite position is?
Well, I'll always be a striker. That's always going to be my favorite position. That's the one I've been playing in since I could kick a ball, to be honest. But at this moment in time, for my learning, I think I'm enjoying, well, playing on the right wing. I had a lot of success there, and I felt like I could get a lot more there. So at the moment, I'd definitely say right wing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of Stoke fans that have you on the right wing when they were putting their team sheet together. Nathan, first one for you then. Can you see yourself and Harry Suter forming a long-term partnership at the back for Stoke, a la Huth and Shawcross? Now that's some reputation to live up to.
Ooh,
What do you think?
Nathan. Yeah, them two are really good at the back, aren't they? But me and Suits, we have a good relationship. He's a good top player, like, and he's good to play with, good to play beside. And I don't see why we can't. If we can keep going together over long term, who knows what's going to happen?
And that's the last time we'll be mentioning the name Harry this evening as well, because I don't know, don't think we need to mention it again, do we, in any context after the news we've had. Both of you then, let's come back to you then, Nathan. What's your favourite memory so far in a Stoke shirt?
Has to be Wigan away in the cup when when I was given the armband. It was a special moment for me, for my family. I've given it a lot, like over the time, and they've given a lot as well. So to see something like that happen to me was a really big moment for them, and it was a really big special moment for me.
And Tyrese, what would you say your favourite memory so far is?
Um, Favorite memory, I'd probably say the Huddersfield game. Um, just the whole of it, like the experience of going up 1-0 up, then going 2-1 down and fighting back to get the win. I mean, that was like my first. I felt my first proper game where I felt so comfortable and like I deserved to be there. And that one will always stick in my head, no matter where I go or how far I get in my career.
Be one of them games you're talking about in years to come for your career, won't it? Wherever you are doing these kind of events, talking to supporters, it will have endeared you to many Stoke fans, that game. So yeah, you're right to have it as one of your favourite memories. Um, Tyrese, I stay with you as a striker. When you play two up front, do you prefer playing to the right or to the left of your striking partner?
Doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. As long as I'm playing, I'll play anyway. You know what I mean? But up front, it doesn't really matter because you're always moving anyway. So you end up on the right, the left, dropping deeper, running in behind. So it doesn't bother me at all.
Happy in either. Nate, I've got one in here. do you feel confident in playing at right back when naturally you're a centre back? So when you were asked to do that job there, did you feel confident playing there?
Yeah, I did. I guess you just have to trust yourself, trust your ability, trust your athleticism. But I knew the gaffer trusted me as well, so that gave me belief in myself and I had players around me that could play and help me as well. So going onto the pitch, I did have confidence. It wasn't that hard to play with players around me as well.
Okay, then I've got one for both of you here, so I'll come back to you, Nathan, on this one. It says, "Hi, Tyrese and Nathan. I hope you're recovering well from your injuries. Like all Stoke fans, I'm really looking forward to having you back playing ASAP. My question is, if you could pick one Premier League player to join Stoke, who would it be and why?" Ooh, Nathan,
Is
what have
that
you got for us
current
there? Well, I'm going to leave it up to you guys to choose because it doesn't state whether it's a former or a current. It says pick one Premier League player to join Stoke. Who would it be and why?
hmm,
Who'd you fancy? Have you got one in the locker, Ty? Give Nathan some time to think.
um, yeah, yeah, I'd go with De Bruyne.
Quality player.
Yeah, I mean, if he's behind me, the passes he can make and spotting of runs, I mean, I'd back myself to get about 30 goals with him. So yeah, definitely
Do
De
you think
Bruyne.
do you think the gaffer will be able to get him in on loan?
Uh, it's tough. It's tough. Wages
It's a
might become
tough
an
one.
issue and ambition. You know what I mean? So I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. All right. Have a word. Have a word. Nathan, where'd you get to? Who are you bringing in from the Premier League?
I think it's gonna have to be Van Dijk. I'll give
Van
up my
Dijk.
position for him. That'll get us promoted with him in there instead of me.
That's a very selfless act there, Nathan, to put someone in
It's
your own
worth it.
position.
Come on.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Um, Again, coming to both of you, I'll stay with you, Nathan, on this one. Did you feel that coming through the academy gave you a good insight into the first team? Was it a good experience for you, the academy program?
Yeah, 100%. Everything you learn in the academy is a pathway to get to the first team. So everything you do is with an aim to first team. I think what this staff and the coaches done down in the academy really helped me to get into the first team. And they made me the player I am.
And Ty, for you, obviously, you spent some time there as well. You've come through that same process there through the academy and the developments. Was it something that you thought had added real value to you when you arrived at Stoke? That having that setup of that academy around you.
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of a big transition for me because I was so used to how everything at City worked, and it was sort of like I couldn't ask for a better move to be honest in terms of like for myself because it was more real life football, like how to cope with different situations. Whereas at Man City they drill one way of playing into you, whereas when I came to Stoke it was a variety of different ways, a variety of ways I had to play. So in terms of my game and my development, it's definitely helped me and pushed me on to where I am now.
So you both see great value in the academy structure, and rightly so there. So Nathan, another one here we've had in. What is life at Stoke City like under Michael O'Neill, and how do you feel about the progress the club has made under the gaffer? Careful, he's listening.
No, it's been great to be fair. Every day, I think we all go in. We're excited to go on the train. It's happy to be. It's a good place to be around. Everyone's a good person in there. There's no one like doesn't want to be there. So we all there to make each other better, and it's a good environment. So there's not a lot more you can ask for.
A little bit more of a tricky one for you here, Tyrese, on this one, but we've had it in. Who's more intimidating, the gaffer or Billy?
Neither of them.
Neither of them. That's what we wanted to hear.
Neither of them.
Good answer, Ty. Uh, Nate, how do you feel about playing fullback rather than centre back? And what do you put down the reasons for having some excellent form before your injury. So you're playing there and you hit some good form there. Do you put that down to anything in particular? Is that your teammates performing well, or is that you just having some really good performances individually?
No, it's definitely the teammate part. But it's just about enjoying myself as well. I was on the pitch, I got to express myself, I got to run forward, play up there. It was just fun there on playing on the right back. It's a good experience as well. Hopefully, it'll make me a better player. So I enjoyed it.
Ty, we've just talked to you, but we've had a question in asking you about your injury, your current injury status. We've discovered what that is. Someone would like to know what your attacking goals are for next season. Do you set yourself a target when it comes to scoring goals?
Yeah, every season it's always the same. Always 20 goals. Always been the same since I was a little boy. But I just carry that on to next year. Um, 20 professional goals in a season is good, and I think any striker would take that. So yeah, that's my aim.
Superb. It's a great goal to have. Stay with you then, Ty, for the next one. So, what's the best atmosphere you've ever experienced in a football game?
As a fan or as a player?
We'll take both. Let's take both. So, as a fan, and then we'll do the player one after.
As a fan, I would say, um, oh, it's a tricky one. I went to watch the Arsenal Chelsea FA Cup final. I think it was 2016, and that was unbelievable. So I'd say that one as a fan, and as a player, um, either when we beat Leeds 2-0 at home. It was my first start in the league, and the atmosphere was mad. So yeah, as a player, that would definitely be it.
And Nathan, what are your best atmosphere that you've experienced as a player or as a fan? If you want to give us that one as well.
As a fan, there was a game. It was Stoke versus City, I think, a few years back, and it was. I don't think we won, but I think I was just in the academy as well, and I went to watch that, and the fans were class. I think we were in relegation, but like the way they were singing, the way they were supporting was unbelievable. I still thought at the time. But as a player, I'd say it was when Ty scored that goal against Sheffield Wednesday. It did hit his shin, but the fans didn't see that.
Have you got a comeback there, Ty, or not? Are you taking that?
Listen, goal's a goal. I'm not bothered.
It was all in the technique. So, Ty,
Yeah.
what is your go-to sauce on oatcakes? So, first off, let's just get it out of the way. You've both tried an oatcake, haven't you? Yeah, I imagine you've both tried an oatcake before, thinking you could come on and talk at a supporters event without having tried them. So, yeah. So,
Yeah.
what's your go-to sauce on an oatcake? Nath, what's your go-to sauce?
Um, uh, what I have on it would be cheese and bacon, probably. It's
Red
not a
sauce,
sauce.
brown sauce.
Oh, it says so. Sorry, and with ketchup. Sorry, that'd be in it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
come
going to
on.
catch up. Tyrese,
Yeah,
what are
the
you going
ketchup.
for? And what would you have on your
Um,
oatcakes, Ty?
what would I have? What topping and then, or what filling and then
Yeah,
sauce
what
as well?
filling and then what sauce? Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, I go bacon and cheese. That sounds quite nice. And then
yeah.
don't know about the ketchup. I'd have to go with a hot sauce, something like Ancona or something.
Spicing up the breakfast.
Yeah, always got to spice every meal up.
Yeah, don't blame me. Another one on food. While we're talking about food, which is appropriate, seeing as it's evening meal time. What's your go-to meal deal if you're out on the road? Ty, your go-to meal deal. You walk in the supermarket. You've got 3 minutes to get in and out, and you need something to eat. What are you picking up?
Um, hmm. Ooh, that's a good question. So, a chicken dish or something. Wait, can I
Yeah,
take it home to season it up, or does it have to be ready made?
yeah. No, you can take it home if you want to season it up at home.
Yeah,
You could do, yeah, but
some some chicken fillets, bit of broccoli, bit of kale, and some sweet corn, and a bit of brown pasta.
Me and Nate want to come round for dinner. What would you be your pick in the
No
supermarket,
thanks.
Nate?
Uh,
Colour's boring,
What are
man.
you
You've got to
go
go
for
fancying?
for
the
flavour.
chicken sweet chili wrap and then a bag of potatoes.
That is so basic, bro. What the hell?
Hey, it's a good meal deal that.
I'll be turning it
It
down, mate.
is.
Sorry.
It's a meal on the move,
Yeah,
isn't
you
it? It's a
you two
meal on
can
the
have a you
move.
you
Exactly.
two can eat that. I'm not eating that. No chance.
We're going to have to do a cookery show with this at some point, I think. So, um,
Yeah,
next one then. We'll stay with you, Nate, for this one.
I'd
How has the experience of
don't
been
worry.
of of playing with no fans? How surreal's that been this season and the end of last?
Yeah, it wasn't nice. It took a while to get used to, I think. I didn't like it though. It's a lot better with the. I feel like you play a bit better as well because there's like you're cheering you on sort of thing. So you play a bit better. So it's hard to find the drive when they're not there. But I think we all missed them at this stage, and we can't wait for them to get back.
Tyrese, do you think having no home fans there gives the away team an advantage in any way?
I think as you can see by like results this season, that the away team has a lot more. Like they go and play at a team, and they're like, well, there's no fans. They've got no one to get behind them. I think we've got a chance, and they're not like almost scared to come and play. Now it's more like even even grounds. Like it's basically like going to play on a park pitch. You know what I mean? Because home advantage doesn't really count at the moment with no fans. But I think the quicker the fans are back in, the better. So
Well, I was going to come on to say that the sooner we can get fans back into the stadium to cheer on the mighty Potters, the better. I'm going to ask you both this question as well. Tyrese, will stay with you for this one. How well have you adapted in the fact that you were put straight into the first team when the manager came in, and from then on you've been turned into until the injury. You were obviously pretty much a guaranteed starter or in that squad, that match day squad. Did that take time for you to adjust? Did you think that your chance had come? Did you feel like you'd got a guaranteed place in that squad on a match day?
um, yeah, I think it took me a little bit of time to adjust because obviously when the gaffer first came in, I hadn't really been playing much football, so I wasn't like top of my game, I'd say, in terms of fitness and all round game. But definitely this season, I felt more comfortable and believed more in myself and thought it's just my job to show him what I can do and how I can help the team and to make sure I'm one of the first names on the team sheet.
And Nathan, the same for you. Obviously, you'd been around the first team, but you seem to have cemented your place once the gaffer arrived. Did you feel confident that you were gonna be part of his plans at that point, and that you were gonna be in that matchday squad?
Yeah, well, I think it took for me for a while to get started, but it took a lot of hard work, everyday training, it took a good bit of me, but I always knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted to be starting. Doesn't matter if it's right back or centre back. Like I just wanted to play, so I just had to work hard, and I knew at one stage I'll get my chance, and I just
Very good. Tyrese, I've got one here for you. Who do you think our best defender is at the football club as a striker going up against them in training? Have you got to say it?
Ooh. Hmm. Best defender. I can't really say because there's a lot of good defenders in the team, so it's hard to pick one. I won't be able to say one.
Yeah. So you're not giving him the credit sitting over the road virtually from you then.
Colour's one of them, but he's been
He's one of
twisted and turned a
I'm
few
quicker than
times.
you,
So
so it's kind of hard for you.
come on now, come on. Let's be real, Colour.
Brilliant. Well, I'm going to flip the coin now because I'm going to ask Nathan who he thinks the best striker is at the football club and see if he'll repay that compliment that you've just nearly given him.
No chance.
It's hard to say, because there's a lot of different strikers in our team. So it's every striker you come up against is a different challenge. If you get me, where Ty's really quick, or one of the other lads might be a little hold up play, might be better, but it's just tough.
Nathan, I'm going to stay with you then. This is a non-footballing one, but and I googled it earlier just to check. But has anyone ever told you that you look like Chris Hemsworth?
Oh my god.
Yeah, a few times. But
I
I try not to let it get to my
No
head
way.
because he's definitely better looking.
He's a good-looking lad, is Chris. But Tyrese, does Nathan get much stick in the dressing room for this lookalike with a really, really good-looking Australian actor?
I've never heard that comparison in my life, and I think I shouldn't hear it again because they've got
Look it up and you'll see.
no
Look it up and you'll see.
correlation. I know who he is. I like my Avengers
No,
films.
and I look exactly like him. Who?
No, you don't. Avengers.
Yeah. That's me.
Oh, brilliant. Tyrese, he's a football one for you. I've had it in from a supporter wants to know. Can you tell us the story behind you signing your new contract? How did that come about? Because there was a little bit of uncertainty at one stage, and then all of a sudden you're a Stoke player for the next few years. How did that come about?
So basically, when the manager came in, basically I hadn't played much football under the previous manager, and I just thought for myself and my career it would be probably the best for me to just go out and play somewhere else because I wasn't getting the game time I needed and time to develop at Stoke. So I thought I'll just be patient and hang fire and then see what happens in January. And then it was coming to around Christmas time, and the gaffer got me in his office for a chat, and he was like, "What's going on? Like, what's happening?" And I was like, "I've got no, like, my issue's not with Stoke. Like, if I got asked to play or I got picked to play, I'd play 100%. I'm not gonna try and force a move. My main concern is playing football and minutes." And he said, "Okay, well, we'll see what we can do in the next few weeks." And then after that, I was put on the bench for Sheffield Wednesday at home, scored in that. Then we played Fulham a few days later, away at Craven Cottage. I come on in that again, and then I started against Huddersfield. And obviously everyone knows what happened in that game. And then from that moment on, I thought, like, in terms of playing and development, for me, Stoke was the best team for that.
And so you decided that you were going to stick around.
Yeah, I always I didn't. It was never a fact that I wanted to go, but like if I had to go, I would have been like really sad about it. But it was more for my career. I had to play football. I was at an age where I couldn't just be sitting on the bench and getting minutes here and there. I had to go and develop and make a name for myself. And I'm just happy that I can still do that for Stoke.
You are certainly making a name for yourself in the potteries, that's for sure, Tyrese. Nathan, one for you here. Does Nathan Collins think he will ever be the Ireland captain?
I'd like to be. I've dreams about it to be. That's what I want to do. Is what I want to achieve in life. But who knows what happens? Football's a mad little game. So hopefully find out soon.
Let's hope that dream comes true for you, Nathan. You deserve it, definitely do. Okay, couple of quick fires to both of you. So we're going to go, we always get this one as well. Better player, Messi or Ronaldo? Tyrese.
Messi.
Nath.
Messi.
Xbox or PlayStation, Nath?
PlayStation.
Tyrese.
PlayStation.
PlayStation, both with a PlayStation. Okay, then I'm going to ask you both this one because this is always a humorous answer. Who has the worst dress sense in the changing room? Let's Tyrese do this one because he's got a little smile on his face. Who's got the worst dress sense in the changing room currently? Then Ty.
Oh, there's a couple. There's a couple names I could throw. Um, ooh, hmm, Pauli.
Who are you going with?
Nick Powell.
Nick Powell. You going with
Yeah,
Nick Powell?
yeah.
And do you have any evidence to back this up? Have you got a theory behind it, or is it just a name that you've picked out of the hat?
No, he's just Nick Powell, really, for me.
Nathan, worst dressed player in the dressing room, in your opinion?
Has to be Big Blondie. Has to. There's no doubt about it. It has to be. He comes in like a rainbow some days, that fella.
Ah, brilliant. He's a bit colourful then.
Oh, is he?
Brilliant.
Oh,
Next one then. Who's the fastest at Stoke? Nate, we'll ask you who the fastest is, and Tyrese, you can answer who the slowest is. How's that for a deal?
yeah, because I'm the quickest.
I don't know. Like we haven't seen Alfie. Alfie's supposed to be up there. We haven't seen him yet.
Alfie.
You know.
Me and him had a
But
conversation the other day.
off what I've seen, it'd be Ty. But I'm not far off him to be fair. But I'd give it to Ty.
Perhaps we should set up a bit of a speed test challenge for the Stoke City Community Trust and get a little video camera out and just see what the results look like after we've done that, should we?
Only
Yeah,
one
I'd enjoy
winner in
that.
that.
We're ready. We'll make it happen. I know Head of Community's listening. We'll make that happen, definitely. So, Ty, who's your slowest?
Slowest. Ooh. Um, Slowest.
It's not a title that anyone wants to take home this evening. You can
I
abstain from
know.
answering if you don't want to.
No,
Go on.
I'm just trying to think. Who's the slowest? Um, Maka.
He's giving this some thought. Maka.
Yeah.
Brave. Brave, Tyrese. Brave. Okay, let's move on quickly. We can edit that bit out for the rerun, don't worry. Although we're live tonight, we can get rid of that bit. I've had a question here saying, I wanted to ask them, did they ever believe that they would be good enough to make themselves a permanent member of the first team once they'd been given that initial chance to prove themselves? I know you've both alluded to it just, but did you both believe that you were, coming through that academy, that you were destined for the first team at Stoke City? Go on, Nath, I'll let you answer that one first.
So, I think you have to be. I think if you don't have belief in yourself, no one's going to believe in you. So I just think it's a common thing that most players will have that have made it through. Because a lot of the time people don't believe in you, and if you don't believe in yourself, you have no chance really.
Yeah, so that self-belief really does push you through on it. And again, Ty, you touched on it earlier when we spoke about, signing your new contract. So what's your opinion on it?
I think you've got to back yourself. I mean, if you're an academy player hoping to play for the first team, you've got to back yourself and believe that you're good enough to play. No matter what level. I think like self-belief is always the biggest one out of any of them, because as much as like anyone can push you in that, no one can push you harder than yourself. So I think, in my eyes, that's like key for an academy player to get in the first team or see themselves in the first team in the future.
We look now at some of the class of that academy. Obviously, there's you two here. There's lots of other teammates of yours that are starting to make the team sheet. How instrumental is the new manager in? Well, I say new manager. He's been here a long time now. How instrumental is Michael in making sure that the youth has got that platform and that opportunity? It's really refreshing to see from a footballing perspective. Do you think that is again really helped you to, as young players, cement yourselves in the first team? Nathan, let's go to you first.
Yeah, of course. The gaffer has big belief in the youth, because it's not just me and Ty. It's a lot of us going around there. We all want to be footballers, don't we? So there's a lot of hunger from the young boys, but it also matches with the like a good experience from the older boys. You know, good little healthy relationship. And I think once the gaffer believes in you and he wants like to improve you, I think you always have a chance.
Thank you, Nathan. Ty, do you prefer to play a high pressure attacking team or a low pressure sit back and defensive team?
What, play against them?
Yeah, if you were playing against the opposition, would you prefer to play a team that were pressing high or someone that would sit back and hit us on the counter and defend a lot?
Definitely a pressing high team.
So you can get in behind.
Yeah, and also like because we like as a team we like to high press as well. So I think it will benefit us as there'll be a few more risks taken and we can win the ball higher up, but also spacing behind for myself to run into.
Stay with you, Tyrese, for the next one. When you were younger, or a little bit younger, who was your idol growing up? Doesn't necessarily have to be a footballer, but who would be that idol role for you?
My dad.
Yeah. And Nathan, for you?
Yeah, it'd be my dad as well. But watching football would probably be like a Ramos or someone like that. You know, he's just a good player. You know, he's a good role model. I think for a lot of young centre backs who want to become footballers.
Mm. Um, Nathan, we'll stay with you on this one. Could you tell us about joining from Cherry Orchards when you joined from there? What was your experience of that? How did it come about? How was the contact here at Stoke City made, and sort of how you were feeling at that time as a young boy coming into the academy?
It's all a bit surreal to be fair with you because at one moment you're just playing football on a Saturday, training twice a week, you know, and then you get spotted at one of your games in Ireland and you go over for a trial. And as soon as I went over, it was just different. Everything about it, the whole setup, the whole academy, it was just a really big difference. But I was welcomed well, so that played a big factor of coming to Stoke, you know. And then once I started training, the standard was just so good, and like the tempo and the standard was so high, and I enjoyed everything about it, and I just had to like get going. I wanted to stay at this level. I wanted like to be in an academy and enjoy it. So when I came to Stoke, like it set all like my standards of what I wanted to be, and I hit all the like, what I want to do as a footballer.
And after almost 50 appearances now, what did what do you know now that you didn't know then, Nathan?
You know, as a kid, you don't understand like what football is and how much of a strange game it can be. And I think I've experienced that a bit more now, and I think I've a good example of it of how it can change like that. And in a second, everything can change, and you can never be overconfident in something because you could just lose it straight away. So you always have to be on your A game.
Tyrese, one for you then. I know the answer to this question because we talked about it yesterday when we did a little rehearsal. But what is your favourite goal that you've scored during your career here at Stoke City?
Um, as I said in the rehearsal, the first goal against Huddersfield, when from the free kick when the keeper come out, punched it straight to me, and I took a touch and just dipped it into the goal. I think I'd sort of already planned it out in my head that that was going to happen, and I sort of hoped it was going to happen. And when it fell to me, I had like no doubts in my head that that was what I was going to do, and already knew the end result as soon as it come off my foot because like I hit it so good and so sweet. So yeah, definitely that one.
And obviously, you both touched on your dads there as far as being idols in your life and helping you become professional footballers. Do you sit and debrief with your dad, Ty, after a game? Does he criticise? Is he harsh on you? How is that relationship?
My dad from young's always just been about being the best dad he could be for me and supporting me in my career. And if I ever need any advice, then he'll give it me. or if I ask him for any questions about football or how I played, then he'll tell me the truth. But he's never been one of them who's constantly at me and saying, you need to do this better, you need to do that better. He's always been like just there for me, watching as like a proud parent. And sometimes like after games I'll ring him and say, oh, what did you think of how I played? Like what could I have done better? What could I have done in this situation? And he'll tell me the truth, and I think that's what I need. I mean, he's just been there for me, and it's been really nice.
Superb. It's great that you're both close to your dads in that way. So Nathan, I'll come to you with this one because we've obviously ascertained that you both enjoy an oatcake every now and again, but somebody says everybody always asks, have you tried oatcake? So I thought I'd throw a curveball in and ask whether you've ever tried lobby. Are you familiar with lobby?
No, that's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's like a stew that you could. Yeah, it's like a stew. You can put vegetables in it and meat. You could have a meat lobby, and it's sort of it's a bit of a delicacy around here. It's the kind of thing you'd have on a really cold winter's day for dinner one evening. And Ty, I'm guaranteeing you would have to throw some spices in it for your
Yeah,
palate because it wouldn't be spicy enough for your palate.
yeah,
But
definitely
yeah,
need
you're
some
gonna have to
spice in
try a
there.
bit of lobby. What we'll do
Yeah,
is
they'll have to.
we'll get the supporter that sent the question in to send us the recipe for the lobby, and you can both try knocking up a little bit of lobby at home in your spare time. Perhaps tweet us a picture of it, Ty, and let us know what it looks like. Um,
I'll get color. I'll get color
okay,
to make it, and I'll just try his.
that's it. That's a deal. Um,
Yeah, sound.
to, Nathan, do you think it would help inspire the team if crowd noises recorded from past home games were used at the Bet365 stadium? This would include potentially a supporter's rendition of Delilah, We'll Be With You, etc. And the supporter goes on to say that their feeling is that the lack of atmosphere is a big help to the away team, which is something we touched on earlier. Where do you get to on this? Because it's a bit Marmite, isn't it? The old crowd noise when you're watching a game of football. Are you in favour of crowd noise, or do you prefer to play as if it was a quieter training game with no crowd noise being pumped through the PA?
No, I think I prefer crowd noise. I think that'd be a good idea actually, like having previous crowd noises from previous games. So I think I'd enjoy that. But a lot of players have different ways of seeing it, so it's a tough one. But I think personally, I'd enjoy that.
Ty, how much of a how important is that crowd when they're there supporting you and they're behind you? Do you agree with Nathan that you probably like a bit of crowd noise pumped into the stadium, or is it not something that sort of is really on your radar?
No, I think it's important to have the crowd there, and even if they can't be there at the moment, even the crowd noise. But um, sometimes, like when you're locked in and focused on the game, you sort of don't hear any of that noise. So it's only like when there's a stoppage in play, you really appreciate the noise that the crowd makes, and it can really give you that push. Or when you create a chance and you win a corner, and they all start cheering and raring you on. You know what I mean? It's I think that's vital in the game, and I think it needs to return as soon as possible because with the fans that we have given us that extra push, I'm sure we'll achieve even greater things.
That question that we've just had in comes in from a program seller who then goes on to say, with the second part of the question, do you both read the program on a match day before the game?
Yeah,
Nathan, do
Yeah,
you
I
want to
would.
answer that one? Yeah.
No, I would. To be fair, there's a lot of sometimes just waiting around, in the before the game, so you give that little read, and it's interesting.
And do you both think, Tyrese, do you enjoy being the cover star on the program when that time comes round each season?
not really because the pictures they put on the front aren't great of me, so I don't really like that. Need to get some better pictures.
No
You're going
pictures
to
of
have to
you
have a
are
word
great,
with
though,
Phil
are they?
Gregg.
Yeah, Phil always chooses the worst ones. Is it Phil that picks
Oh
them?
dear. I'll pass on your comments to Phil and make sure he's aware that you want some better
Yeah,
pictures of
let him
yourself.
tell him, or I'll text him and I'll tell him next time there's a photo shoot for the cover. Make sure I've got had a haircut before it or something.
All right, let him know then. Give him the memo. Make
Yeah,
sure he's got it.
yeah, I'll tell him.
Um,
I'll tell him.
Nathan, what do you think is the most who do you think is the most naturally talented, gifted player at the club presently that you're playing with?
Naturally gifted.
Who has to
Where's
make
a
the
good
least
few
effort
now?
to look good?
Uh, I'd probably Nick Pell. He doesn't put a lot of effort into anything, to be fair. So I'd go with him.
And Tyrese, what do you think on that one? Who do you think's the most
Yeah,
naturally talented, gifted player?
Pauli, 100%. Some of the things he can do, and like it's like he almost like can just flick a switch, and all of a sudden, like you're like, wow, like he's some player. And to be fair, like he's been doing it on a consistent level this season. So I think everyone's like seeing the talent he's got, and but by far he's definitely the most naturally gifted that we've got in the team.
Ty, I want to stay with you for this next one. Did you play any part in bringing in Matonda and Wright Phillips to the club? And if so, what words of advice did you give them before they joined?
I didn't know. I know him,
Okay.
but I didn't really have any conversations prior to them joining. But when I obviously see Rabbi when I'm in and see DiMaggio, I'll chat to him. But I didn't have any part in bringing them in. That was solely their choice.
Thank you for clearing that one up. Nathan, would you rather play with John O'Shea or Ryan Shawcross?
Well, I think it's the fact that I've played at Ryan already, so I wouldn't mind a game with John as well.
Yeah, I think that's the one then. So that answers that question we've had in from supporter. Um, at the back as well, and this is a bit of a tough one, and you're probably going to swerve this one, but I've been asked, who do you feel that you play best with at the back for Stoke?
It's a tough one though, I don't think there's any individual player because I think as a back four or back five, it's everyone together, not just like one certain player. So I don't think you can really say who I'd play best with.
Yeah, you've got some talented people that you play alongside week in, week out, and it is difficult sometimes, isn't it, to identify one over the other. And I also know you've got to walk back into the dressing room at some point and keep your credibility. So you don't want to be picking one out and not the other. So Ty, I'm going to come to you for that one then. Who's the
Um,
who do you like playing with? It doesn't have to be a current Stoke player. It can be someone in your career that you've perhaps played up top with alongside. Is there anyone that stands out for you?
um, Not really, to be fair. I mean, I've enjoyed playing with all the strikers. Um, at the club and in my previous years, I wouldn't be able to pick one because I've had success with a lot of them. So like they all bring something different to the game, and I like, but they all allow me to do my thing, which is like running behind, get the ball to feet one on one with the defender. So like I've appreciated playing with all of them and enjoyed it as well.
And another one as well that's coming. Obviously, there's the question with Ryan's departure over to Miami that there's a captain's armband that needs claiming. Who would you both appoint if you it was your decision tomorrow? Who were you appointing as club captain? The pair of you, Nathan. I'll come to you first, Nathan. Give Tyrese some time to think.
I think I'd have to go with Joe, to be fair. I think after Ryan, he's the longest serving now, isn't he? And he probably knows the club as well as anyone, so I'd give it to him.
Tyrese, who are you going for?
Yeah, I'd say Joe as well. I mean, Joe's a leader. He's played at the highest level, Premier League, European Championships, and you can just tell even when he doesn't even need to say that much, but you can just he leads on the pitch and you can see that. So yeah, definitely Joe.
Nathan, this is a bit of an awkward one, but we've had it in and we try and ask all the questions. But who is the manager's favourite player? Who gets treated? Who gets let off the hook a little bit in training? Who's perhaps the teacher's pet when it comes to the manager?
Definitely tie.
Why are you lying?
I think it's probably because though Toy can get that odd goal, and maybe me or someone else can't. So
So Ty's favourite. Would you agree with that then, Ty? Do you think you get treated
um,
special?
no, no, not at all.
Um, what advice would you give, Tyrese, to any young aspiring footballer that's perhaps playing, lads and dads, or perhaps at the very fringes of an academy somewhere that's not quite sure? What advice would you give to that young man or that young woman in that position that wants to embark on a career as a footballer?
I think the most important thing is always staying true to yourself and never changing yourself for anyone. Um, that self belief, like I mentioned earlier, so important. And just enjoying your football. I mean, you got to enjoy it. If you're not enjoying it, then maybe you shouldn't be playing the game. I mean, you got to enjoy the job you do and just never be afraid to express yourself and just show everyone what you can do because if you can't express yourself, then you don't enjoy it and then you don't play your best football. So you got to enjoy yourself and just be able to play free.
Wise words, Tyrese. Nathan, would you have anything to add to that? What advice would you give to an aspiring young person that wanted to make their way in the game?
I think Toy's hit the nail on the head there, but just don't give up. I don't think you can give up and just always go your hardest because if you've done your hardest and you've worked your best, there's not a lot more you can do.
Nathan, I'll stay with you for the next one then, because again, it's to both of you, so some thinking time for Ty. Who has had the most influence on your career to date, Nathan?
Yeah, there's been a lot. I've had a lot of coaches, top coaches who've worked a lot with me, but I'd still say I have to go with my dad. I've had him, teach me football since I was a little kid, and still to this day, he teaches me a good bit, so I'd go with him.
And Ty, for you, would that be a similar answer, I'm imagining?
Yeah, that would be my answer as well, definitely.
Um, let's stay with you then, Ty, for your next one. Where can you see Stoke in 5 years' time? Get the crystal ball out to answer these questions, but where do you hope to see Stoke City in 5 years' time?
Um, I'll just be in the Premier League with them. I mean, I don't think there's anything stopping us achieving that in the near future, if not a year or two from now. I mean, got a great squad, good management, everyone's good around the club, great set of fans. I mean, we all believe that we can do it. So I think in 5 years, I'm hoping that the club will be in the Premier League. That's my crystal ball prediction.
And I think everybody watching would probably want to agree with you there, Ty. Nathan, would you say any different to that? Where you see us in 5 years' time?
No, I agree with Toy on that one.
How do your personal goals? You've got personal goals in life as professional sports people. How do those goals influence the rest of the team potentially, and how do you maximise getting the best out of you and your teammates? So do they have any influence? Do your personal goals have any influence over the way we perform as a team, Tyrese?
Well, my personal goal is always to win, and I just want to be playing at the highest level, playing my best football all the time. So if that means I'm helping the team out by scoring the only goal or setting the only goal up, then I guess that's my personal goal is helping the team. So my aim is I want to be playing at the highest level, which is the Premier League, and if I can help the team do that and the club do that, then I'll be more than happy.
You got some really big influences around you in the dressing room. You've touched on a few of them already this evening, Nathan. Would you say that collectively, as Ty's just said, that there's a collective goal as a football club, and then everybody really has the same ambition under that? That you're a professional sports person, and it is in your DNA to want to win. Do you think that's a fair statement that everybody on that field has got that approach that Ty's just explained?
Yeah, of course. I think there's problems if you don't. You know, if you don't want to go out there and win and play your best, you're probably in the wrong game because I think that's everyone's goal at the end of the day. And when, as a team, if we don't win or if as a player you don't win, like play your best, I think you're hurt by it. You should be hurt by it, and you'd really want to like bounce back the next game and play your best.
Okay, bit of fun, the next one. Don't know if you're aware, I wasn't until today, but apparently there is a championship fantasy football game where you can manage a team in the championship. So get your thinking caps on, the pair of you, because if you were to pick a team, which Stoke player would be in your team and which one player from another club would be your first choice? So you've got one to choose from the Stoke City squad as it is now, and you've got the second name on your team sheet is the person you'd like to bring in from another championship club to play in your fantasy football team. So you need to pick two names, one from Stoke and one from another championship club. So Ty, who would be your first pick out of the Stoke squad if you were the manager of a fantasy football team?
My first
You
pick.
can pick yourself if you want to, you know.
You know what? I'd bring Colo with me. I'd take Colo. Bit of defensive solidness.
That's what we need. Defensive solid at the back. And Colo, who are you
Yep.
taking out of the Stoke team into your fantasy football team if you could pick one name out of the Stoke squad?
I'll repay the favour to Ty, but to be fair, he does score a few goals now and then, so
He does. You can always rely on him for a
he'll
few
do for now.
goals.
Now and then.
Nathan, who would you bring in from an opposing championship team then into your fantasy football? Who have you come up against? Who's noticed? Who's caught your eye?
I think Buendia from Norwich. I'd take him.
Player.
Yeah.
Good little player.
Ty, who are you taking?
Yeah. He wasn't even. I forgot about him, but yeah, Buendia. What a player.
Nice pick.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, really good player. With you two in the side, that's not a bad start, is it? There's three nice names on the team sheet there. I wouldn't be too unimpressed by that at all. Again, question to both players here. So I've been asked, what do you do in your downtime when you're not training, playing? So what do you do to relax? If you're not training, playing, or at work, what is it that you do? So Tyrese, let's come to you first. Hobbies and interests, I think it's called on a CV.
Play PlayStation.
PlayStation. What's your go-to on the PlayStation?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And I think we actually had a couple of people email in, and I'm not going to read the questions out. I'll forward the messages on privately to you both after. But we've had a few usernames dropped in of people that want to challenge you to a game on a few of these consoles. So I'll private message you the username so you can check them out for yourself. So these Stoke fans that want to go up against you.
If they've got what it takes,
what would you,
let's see what they got.
See what they've got. Sounds like you're laying down a bit of a challenge there, Ty. Bring it on.
You got to back yourself, you know what I mean?
Definitely. Nathan, what do you do to unwind and relax?
I'm either eating, sleeping, or playing PlayStation, basically.
The three staples in life in lockdown: eating, sleeping, and playing PlayStation. It's about all we can do, isn't it, at the minute? Out of work.
Exactly.
Nathan? What's your go-to game on the PlayStation then?
Yeah, I'd be a COD player myself as well.
Bit of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Did you rate yourself? You got the skills?
Yeah, I'd be best in the team by a country mile, to be fair.
Yeah, you're better than me. I'll give you that. You're better than me. But I'm not sure about that.
That sounds like a challenge that we can pick up another time as well, and doesn't it? A little COD session.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's just work out
we'll do
who
a
is the
solos.
Stoke City COD champion. Do a showboat.
Solos in Verdansk.
You've asked the question around PlayStation or Xbox from a footballing perspective on the console. Another favourite question for supporters is it FIFA or is it PES if you were to choose a footballing game? Go on,
FIFA
Ty.
all day long.
FIFA. Yeah, FIFA.
FIFA. It's got to be.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
are you both happy?
100%.
Are you both happy with your own stats on FIFA nowadays? Do you think?
No,
Do you think?
no,
Not
Go
at
on,
all.
Ty. Explain. What's wrong with your stats on FIFA? What would you improve?
my finishing, my pace, dribbling, my physical's awful. Passing attributes maybe a little bit higher.
Mm.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that aren't right. I don't think they've watched me personally, but if that's what they're giving, then I guess I'll take it.
Take it, Nath. What would you say your attributes look like on FIFA?
I'm not good enough. I'd say the same with Ty, my pace, my shooting, my dribbling. They all need to go up a
You've all got work to do in that department.
bit. Yeah.
um, Bit more of a realistic question here. The next one in, we come away from the fun ones for a second. Um, what is the biggest piece of advice you would give somebody starting out in a first team that's come through an academy in football in the professional game? Tyrese, let's come to you first because you've both had experience of it. So, what piece of advice would you give to somebody that's just coming through? I'm not sure which footballer has sent this question in, but it sounds like one of them. So, anybody that's just starting out as you did, leaving the academy and trying to make it in the professional game with the first team, what bit of advice would you give them?
Well, I'd tell them your talent and your ability has got you here now, so make sure you keep showing that, and just um, don't be afraid that you're training with the first team. I understand like it can be daunting, but your talent and ability is what's got you there now. So don't hide. Show everyone what you can do.
And I think, Nathan, that's probably what Ty says there isn't just valid in football, it's valid in all walks of life, isn't it? If you get to a certain stage in your career, or you get to fulfill one of your career ambitions and goals, and you get there, then it's because you've worked hard to get there.
Yeah, 100%. But you don't want to get comfortable, You're there for a reason, but you should always want to improve, so don't stop. Just keep going to the best of what you can be, like.
Okay. This is always a nice question I like the answer to, because I remember, even though it was probably 23 years ago when I did it, but that first time at what was the Britannia Stadium that's now the Bet365. So, Ty, what was it like walking out at the Bet365 for the first time as out of that tunnel to all of that noise? What talk us through the emotion on that day?
It was mad. Um, I just remember like was in the change room before the game, like everyone Gaffer saying his last words and like wishing all the lads good luck, and you could hear the fans chanting and shouting and clapping, and you was just like, wow, this is really it. Like this is where I wanted to be, and it was just like you can imagine like a great experience, but it was much better than what I could have ever imagined. It was just crazy.
One to remember. Nathan, would you say it was a daunting experience that first time? You walking out of that tunnel, a lot of pressure on your shoulders. Did you feel it in any way?
I don't think it was pressure. I think it was just more excitement. I think it's a new experience, playing in front of so many people. For especially for Stoke City, it's a massive club. I don't think I felt the pressure. I just think I was really excited and I just couldn't wait to get going.
Okay, thank you both for your answers. This is another one, a favourite of mine is, if you weren't a footballer, what would you be doing? Tyrese, let's come to you first. If you weren't a footballer, what would you want to do with your life?
Um, I'd probably be doing something that involves a business of some kind. That's when I was in school. That's what I enjoyed apart from PE, business studies. So probably have something to do with that. But I couldn't really imagine myself not doing anything other than football.
So you fancy yourself as a bit of an entrepreneur potentially as you work your way through your career and get some opportunities.
Yeah, or I could play rugby on the wing.
Nath, what would you be doing if you weren't a footballer?
Um, Probably be a chef or something like that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, you have nominated him to knock a lobby up for us, remember, Ty? So, well, go on. Throw us a dish out, Nath. What you
Chef.
preparing? What's your signature dish?
I don't really do a signature dish. I just do a bit of everything, you know. Haven't mastered it yet, though, but I'm not far off it.
Not far off it. Got something to say on the matter, Ty? Have you?
No
Have
comment.
you
Ready to
experienced
go.
this cooking?
No, I haven't actually, but he's miles off it, so I can't imagine his food to be that good.
um, so I've got evening all. Love you both. Is Josh Timon okay with his flag? If not, we're really sorry.
Yeah, he loves it.
Have you both seen Josh's flag? What's his opinion on it? Because it appeared from nowhere and it's caught everyone's attention. Ty, what do you think of his flag?
He's all right with it. He's not like we spoke about it and laughed about it. He's not. He's not bothered. I think he's over uh, that whole video that came out of him when he signed. So it's a bit of banter in it. So it's cool.
Do you give him much stick in the dressing room, Nathan, about the about having his own flag?
I think we did at the start, but now we're all used to it, you know.
Yeah, no doubt another one will appear soon. So it definitely made me smile the first time I saw it. That's for sure. Um, Again, to both of you here. So we'll come to you first, Nathan. Did you ever have times early on in your footballing life where you thought that you weren't going to make it?
Yeah, of course. I just think that's part of the process, really. I think any footballer you ask, they say they've had them times. It's just normal. But you just have to break that barrier, really. You know, it's a stepping stone, or it's a challenge, and you're going to face plenty of challenges. So you just have to face up to them your best, you know, and keep going. Or don't stop. Always believe in yourself, really.
And Ty, for you, was there that moment or moments in your career where you just thought, do you know what, I don't think I'm going to do this? If at that point where you might have been a little bit low on confidence or things hadn't gone right for you?
Um, there's always points where you doubt yourself and whether it's right for you. But I think for me, it was only brief, really. And I always knew like that I was talented enough to make it in the game, and I've still got a long way to go. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying I've made it properly yet, but for my age and my development, I'm happy where I am now. But I've definitely got bigger goals in my mind. So hopefully, I can just once I'm back playing, continue to achieve them.
And fulfilling them at Stoke City, long may it continue, the both of you, yeah. Um, so we're coming on now. My next question is, you're a little bit young really to put this question to you, but we're going to ask the question, what do you plan on doing when you retire? Ty, do you even give retirement any consideration at this stage, being so young?
No, I haven't, to be honest. What would I be doing when I retire? Well, I'm
Are you
hoping
going to get
I
yourself
have a
some
great
businesses?
career. Yeah, I have a great career. I've got enough money in the bank to maybe start a new venture, open something up, continue the income, have a good family, and just be comfortable in life. Maybe a little business, maybe with Collar, you know what I mean? We'll have a little word about that when I see him. Get a business plan together for the
Looking forward
future.
to it.
And what's that going to be then, Colo? A restaurant? Are we going all Gordon Ramsay with the chefing aspirations? What do you want to do when you sort of perhaps finish playing football in a few years' time?
To be fair, I'd leave that on hold for a little bit, but I'd probably like to travel the world or something like that, you know? You don't get a lot of spare time in football, so once this is over, I'd like to travel the world, really.
Well, talking of retiring, gentlemen, that's it for this evening. A big thank you to both of our guests for joining us tonight. We've got Nathan Collins and Tyrese Campbell. You've been absolutely amazing, and thank you to both of you for giving up your time, not only this evening, but your time yesterday to make sure all the technical aspects of this Meet the Players appearance works. So big thank you to both of you, and obviously massive thank you to all the supporters, not only for their questions and for watching this evening, but for their continued support. So I'm going to come back to both of you. So Nathan, we say thank you to you. Have you got anything you want to perhaps say to those supporters?
No, just thanks as well, you know? Keep giving your support as much as you can. I know it's hard, but hopefully soon enough we see you back on the in the Bet365, and we can't really wait, to be fair.
And Tyrese, got a message for those fans?
Yeah, thank you for the questions. There's some good questions in there, some interesting ones. And thank you for the messages while I've been injured and just helping me push on and motivate me. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the stadium, hopefully very soon.
Yeah, likewise. I think we all can't wait to be back with that roar of the crowd coming from the Boothen end, and a nice positive 3 points and a few goals. Maybe a couple of assists as well. There, Carlo, from that right back position as well. Just would be nice, wouldn't it? Gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Thank you very much. We wish you all the best with your recovery. It's really great that you've been able to take time out of your schedule. I know how busy it is in lockdown and you've got PlayStation to play, but we really do appreciate you giving us the time here this evening to chat and entertain some Stoke fans. So that's it this evening, ladies and gentlemen. From us here at StokeCityFC.com, we've got quite a few of these events planned. In fact, I can give you some news now that is going live very shortly. But we'll see you again for the next in the series. We are bringing you our Meet the Club theme, and it will be Meet the Board. We're going to be meeting with Joint Chairman John Coates, with Chief Executive Tony Scholes, and with Manager Michael O'Neill. We're going to be doing that on Thursday, the 25th of March. It's a Thursday night, a 7 o'clock start again. If you want to get your questions in, you can do so. Questions to the board, supporters@StokeCityFC.com is the email you need to be sending them. Get them into us so that we can put your questions to the board and the manager here at Stoke City FC. So from everybody on tonight's production, we'd like to thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for sending us your questions in, and thank you for watching this evening. You take care of yourselves, and up the mighty Potters.